Joe Biden is really a moderate Republican. Let's not make any mistake about it.
Yeah.
Same thing. Even Obama himself said, I'm a moderate Republican." He said this after he was out of office. And just look at some of the people that he's floating, for various key positions in his cabinet, including he's thinking of, I forget what it was. He's having Hillary back in his cabinet.
Hillary? No.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like, no, Joe, don't go there. And he wants to have Republicans, and he wants to have Kasich on it. No, I mean,
Okay. Oh no. Yeah, don't do that.
seriously, that's what it says. Is they're trying to pass off a bowl of shit as fudge brownies, and it's not.
No, I
It's
know.
just,
It is.
and,
It's exactly what you're saying.
I mean, when you look at the results overall, it was a terrible night for Democrats, because supposedly the Democrats were supposed to add seats to the House, take over the Senate, and they didn't. They lost seats in the House. They didn't take over the Senate. Their chances now to get to what, a 50-50 Senate with two candidates in Georgia who are not for Medicare for all. Good luck with that.
They're
It,
both
it,
in like runoffs.
yeah,
Uh,
it's not going to happen. And they didn't take over any states from Republicans. They had a shit showing. So the fact that Trump
mm,
lost is really just a referendum on Trump.
that's
That's
what it
all it
was.
was. That's
We've
all it
acknowledged
was.
that. Yeah, we know that it definitely wasn't for Biden. It was against Trump.
No, and when you look at the incumbent Dems who lost their seats in the House, every single one of them was a blue dog Dem.
Interesting.
There were neoconservatives, neoliberals, corporate Dems, that kind of. Every single Dem who won re-election, or the new Dems who won their election, every single one of them was in favor of Medicare for all. So the squad won re-election handily. Cory Bush, some of the other folks around the various races who campaign on Medicare for all were swept in. Look at the ballot initiatives that were approved. They were, raising the minimum wage, have marijuana be classified, be
Yeah.
illegal as a recreational drug. Oregon say, yeah, have all drugs be recreational
The
drugs.
shrooms, they legalized mushrooms or something. It's just a different
Yes,
world.
psilocybin.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Anyway.
The thing is, when you look at it, the people in this country are moving what we would say to the left, which is really centrist in Europe, but they're moving
Right.
to the left, and the Dems keep making the mistake of saying, "Hey, we just have to keep going to the right. We become more like Republicans," and it's like, no, that's the wrong thing to do.
And yeah, I've just been caught up with the idea, what's next. And just, Trump always has to, like, I don't know, steal the enjoyment out of everything, with him not conceding and the whole election. It was just hard to follow afterwards. It was a lot of build up. And I was like thinking he was going to win for a second, like the first night. But what do you
Well,
think of, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say this isn't over yet. It's not over until the
Um,
electors meet. I am still have some concerns that he will pull some shit out of his butt or whatever, because look at all the lawsuits he's now you know tossing out there. He's like over 12, over 16 on some of them, but I think maybe he got one suit in his favor. But here's the thing: I think he's trying to set it up so that states, especially the so-called swing states, will instruct their electors to cast their ballots for Trump, irregardless of what went down with the votes. And if that happens, the electoral college could still pick Trump. Trump is not doing it. He hasn't conceded, so he's not doing anything transitional, not giving the Biden team any funds for transitioning. So he's obviously a sore loser and a baby and throwing a hissy fit, but I still think there's some shenanigans that could still keep him in office. And that's what concerns me. So the next, when does the Electoral College meet? December 18th or something like that? Until they meet and officially cast their ballots, This ain't over.
Grim, 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 grim. Well, what do you
Although,
think? Oh, go ahead. Just
did you hear what Boris Johnson? He stood up in Parliament or something like that, answering a question from some other MP, and he basically, well, the previous president.
yeah, exactly.
They called Trump the previous president. It's like that's pretty damn funny.
Yeah, the world is moving on, and but I know what you're
Yes,
saying. But the world is moving on. But yeah,
yes.
he's definitely still in the like he's up to something. Obviously, otherwise, it's just a mess.
And of
Simply,
course, he's now floating the idea of making a run in 2024, which, if he's floating that idea, means he's conceding 2020. But still, the idea of him coming back and running again in 2024 should scare us.
yeah, I've
um,
looked at that too, and I just it's so. I mean, we don't know what's coming, but he would be like 78, and I think it would be 70. I don't know. It's
yes,
close to.
he would be 78,
Okay,
and Trump at 78. Well, let's put it this way: Biden at 78 is more fit than Trump would be at 78.
but he's like desperate. I mean, it's just a weird situation. But yeah, he's had this up his sleeve. I mean, it was been obvious, right? The whole thing's rigged the whole time. And but what do you think about Joe Biden flipping Arizona and Georgia? Sorry, there's a plane. Okay.
Well, okay. Georgia, Georgia happened because of Stacey Abrams. She
Okay.
really mobilized things. But don't forget, the Republican Secretary of State for Georgia purged 200,000 people of color, minorities, off the voter rolls illegally. So if those people were allowed to
Okay.
have voted, it would have been a run. It would have been a lot bigger margin of victory for Biden in Georgia. So let's keep that in mind. And those same people purged from the voter roll are still going to be purged from the runoff election. So this is some crazy nonsense going on. As far as Arizona goes, it was the natives, the native population, like
Oh,
voted some 75 to 95% in favor of Biden. It was the natives that flipped Arizona for Biden.
interesting. It's just weird. I mean, they legalized marijuana too. So these red states, you're right. Like the even Florida now officially, I don't think you can call it a swing state anymore. It's red. At least for now. I don't know. We'll see. But just for now, um, they
But but something, I think we talked about this, that the so-called red mirage, because when you're looking at, election night, it looks like Trump was just like wiping everything up. And
yeah
remember we discussed that wait till the mail-in votes come in afterwards. That's
yes
exactly what happened. Exactly what happened.